You guys ready for Jump Cuts the episode? It's Jump
boy.
Cuts the episode. Let's do this. It's Tim time.
Go!
This will take attempts.
I feel like my first run was actually the best run because he kept just...
He just stopped me.
He did. He can bump into the back of you, which will push you forward, but if he hits you to the side or you hit the back of him, it bumps you back and stops you.
Alright, I need to run this a few times to remember the course.
I mean, it'll be like the Sands fight all over again.
No, it'll be much faster.
Well, I mean, you've done this before. You hadn't done the Sands fight before.
Yeah.
But it's, again, just learning the course. Once you know the course.
Because I remember this taking me quite the few attempts the first time round.
I almost feel like this would be better in a hover car. Because there's so much water. Why is there so much water in this stage? I get it's raining, but come on.
It's not raining, it's flooding.
See, I'm waiting for the dick move of if he actually finishes the race in first, he just says, no, you're not ready for me, and then you have to do all three of the boss battles again, and just takes away your amulet.
Yeah. Alright. Cut the inside so he can pass me, because, let's face it, he's gonna pass me.
This is also the first boss fight without any balloons.
D2 actually has balloons, if I remember correctly.
Although, now that I've learned that there is actually a story to this game, I kind of want to look up the manual to it.
You know what? Now's the perfect time for that. While I'm practicing some runs, why don't you look it up and read it out to the class?
You know what? I love this idea.
Let's get some... We're at final-ish boss mode. Let's get some hot lore going.
Alright, so let's take a look at this. Operational controls, racing, missiles, get bananas, get the zippers. Alright, the story. The story. Let me zoom in here. Actually, let me just turn this to landscape mode.
There you go.
The story. Diddy Kong sat on the porch of his treehouse and curiously tore open the letter. It wasn't often that a message arrived from so far away that had to be brought in by carrier pigeon. Eager to find out what it contained, he tugged on the note impatiently and started to read. Dear Diddy, it began. Help! Now this sounds promising, he thought. Things have been all too quiet since those old family friends the Tigers had moved to spend their summer. Or had arrived to spend their summer. Sorry. As it turns out, the message was from his old friend Timber, son of the Kong's guests, the Tigers.
Who have been around forever, of course, in the Donkey Kong lore.
We just never see them in DK because, you know, DK is a family struggle. The Tigers aren't going to get involved in that.
They moved before then.
Exactly. The young tiger had found himself in quite a bit of trouble. That, for once, wasn't even his fault.
For once.
After Diddy Kong carefully read the note through a couple more times, he sat back and gnawed on a finger, his gaze fixed somewhere beyond the early morning jungle mist. He'd been asked to help, so his intention to zip off as soon as possible could not be in doubt. The question that preoccupied him now was whether or not he should draft some extra help, just in case. After all, this Wizpig sounded like a pretty mean foe. Finally, he decided that his friends Banjo and Conker would still enjoy adventure, even if it turned out that their services weren't needed. So the young ape dug out a pencil stub from the mess in his bedroom and hopped back to his seat. Whistling for Squawks, his own makeshift carrier pigeon, he began to scribble out a couple of messages of his own. A few hours later, Diddy Kong was in his first leg of his journey, tearing off at high speed through the jungle. A pair of Kremling spies lurking behind a boulder watched him with suspicion. Hey, where'd you think he'd go? Asked Crunch. His crony frowned. Why? He asked. What if he'd go fetch others? Fight Kremlings? The second Kremling thought about this, and then realized what Crunch was about to suggest. No way, I not go, he said, and turned and bolted into the undergrowth. Crunch rolled his eyes. Hopeless, he snorted. I go after him. He bellowed to his cowardly colleague. You go tell boss. See what you think of that, huh? And with that, crunch lumbered off through the trees,
No.
grumpily swinging aside vines as he went. On to page 2. Meanwhile, Timber was trying to calm the excitable Pipsy so that he could understand at least part of what she was saying. He said he'd help us, she squealed, making Bumper and Tip Top wince as the pitch of her voice soared in and out of audible rage. He said he wanted to find a companion to go take down that horrible pig once and for all. Slow down, Pipsy, Timber urged, trying to make sense of her words without upsetting her. After all, this whole business had been a little harder on the mouse than any of them. Wizpig's unwanted intrusion left her family homeless. Who are you talking about? Bumper asked curiously. Taj, the genie! Pipsy babbled. He said he'd help. Really, Bumper, he did. I just saw him. Tip-Top blinked. The genie? But nobody's seen him for 50 years, he protested. I know, but I just did, I promise. Timber frowned, thinking this through. That means he must have been kicked out of the mountain too, he reasoned. After all, we've just seen what that pig's spells can do. They thought of the huge, leering Wizpig face that had been carved into the mountainside overnight. Then they thought of the racecourses, the island's pride and joy, which had been magically sealed off. That made them think of Drumstick, their friend, and the island's champion racer, who had gone to challenge the intruder to an honorable race and hadn't been seen since. We could really do with Taj's help, Pipsy prompted. No argument here, agreed Tip-Top, nodding nervously. Timber scratched his head. Well, I guess you're right, he sighed, especially if we're going to get this mess sorted out before my parents get back. Well, if that genie wants a champion, I say we all get practicing, Bumper grunted, getting to his feet and snapping down his goggles. Good plan. Bumper is pretty much like the prelude to Goggles. That's cute. Good plan, Timber agreed. Come on, guys. Yeah, Tip-Top, even you. Help should be on its way soon, and we can't just sit around waiting. Let's get out there and see what we can do. And let's just hope Diddy Kong doesn't mention any of this to my parents. So that was the story.
Like I said, there's actual lore to this game.
I was hoping to hear more about, like, what Wizpig did, but...
He sealed off the entire island and took it over.
I guess so. I guess that's all you really need to know. Adventure mode? Oh, there's magic codes.
Sure are. There are cheat codes in this game, which we can show off later.
Wizpig, the big bad bully himself, a spiteful space traveler who hops from planet to planet looking for good places to drop in and cause havoc until there's nothing left there to amuse him. Nobody's ever managed to kick him out before he got bored, but there has to be a first time.
Jump cuts. I actually think I like no boost a little bit better than boost. Because then I don't. Because he's far more likely to push me off this stupid log if he passes me there. I went a little too ham.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you fall into a pit, you're just kind of done.
Yeah, you are.
And there's lots of pits.
There sure are. Okay, so this will be an example of why I say boosting isn't always the best. Because if he pushes me off there, that's game.
Well, it was really weird, though, because, like, the very first run I did against him, which was a total flop, mind you, but he just kept bumping into the back of me and pushing me ahead and getting himself pushed back.
Damn, missed it.
That was going to be really tough to hit, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you got ahead of him for a while there.
Yeah. No, this is still competitive.
Oh! Okay.
Keep that one in the reels.
That one's sticking around. Yeah, that one requires a bit more of the Tim strats.
Alright, last lap.
Alright, you're right on his butt.
Literally on his ass.
Right up on that pork butt.
Unfortunately, this does mean I have to play perfect. Oh, that doesn't help.
Oh.
That
okay.
doesn't bode well.
You might be able to... It might still be salvageable.
Maybe.
Oh, it's gonna be real fucking close.
Maybe. Oh my god!
Oh!
Couldn't have made it closer if I tried.
Damn, son.
That was a run to show. Man. Triceratops was still harder. Bye.
He went back to his planet needed him.
You don't know how right you are.
Well, we did just learn that he's a space traveler.
You doing okay there, buddy? Drink a little much?
He's
You got the
celebrating.
balance.
Fuck off, TT. Fuck off, TT. Nobody invited you.
And let the credits roll.
Hey. All right. So
Outside of carts, too.
we beat another rare game.
No, we didn't.
Gotta get all of
Oh
our
man, that genie dance, though. Look at them hot moves.
gotta get all of our partying in
Get
soon,
the wiggle in, the jiggle in.
so that we have time to clean up before Timber's parents get home.
Right. Oh, you keep going, honey badger. You got it. Oh, but what this?
Hello. And the music fades. Why can't Rare just ever let us actually have a party?
Why? Because this exists.
Taz, you better not get caught. We need you.
Screw fighting fair.
Use your carpet.
The voice acting, though.
But he's saying goodbye. It's fine. See, he's leaving. It's fine. This is what we wanted.
You were saying? Suddenly, we take a turn for the dark. My planet needs me. I must go.
My planet needs me.
You were more correct than you realized.
I mean, so we kicked him out. That's what we wanted, right? So, yeah, I think we won.
I mean, what's stopping him from just coming back?
What's ever stopping him from just coming back to a planet
Giving
that
us
he's
the
left?
middle finger. Just like, no, screw you.
I mean, we just read that he goes from planet to planet until he gets bored and leaves. Apparently, this is the first time we've actually kicked him out of a place.
The first time anyone has kicked him out of a place.
But, to be fair,
And to be
he
fair-
didn't leave.
Now, to be honest, I would also feel rather hurt if I lost a race like that.
You know, you're not wrong, and apparently this is the first time he's ever been beaten, which to me feels like he would not want to leave because he'd actually have a challenge in this planet now.
Yeah. Also notice the racer portrait circling around has Drumstick and TT there. I wonder why.
So this means we can...
Stampers!
Hey, all the stampers. So I take it this means we can now unlock Drumstick.
No.
Oh.
You have to beat all 4 trophy races before you can.
Oh.
So we can almost do it.
And then TT requires beating the time trials in each stage?
Yes.
Fuck that.
I mean, it's a very worthwhile reward. You get the most broken character in the game. By a landslide.
I mean, we looked at his stats, and yes, he's very fast, but... Like, I was expecting his stats to, like, be maxed out in every way. They are not.
It's almost.
It's, like, 5 in speed, and then 2.5 in the other 2 stats.
No, it
If I
wasn't.
remember correctly.
You were not. You were thinking of Drumstick.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, no, TT's just, like, almost max.
Because I thought it was, like, 5 and then, like, 3-3, or, like, 5-4-3, or something like that.
It's...
Because I remember being very, like, astounded that it wasn't just all max, because that was what I was expecting.
Yeah.
The end?
In a very rare fashion. Blabbermouth for a cheat.
A cheat for our horn.
Yes.
Alright, well.
Which, to be fair, we are in the main menu now.
I mean, we might as well see what the Blabbermouth cheat does.
I don't think it's going to make the game any easier.
I mean, it seemed like a cheat for the horn, so I think it's just going to make, like, the horn do things. You know that if this game had come out after Banjo-Kazooie, they would have, like...
Horn cheat.
Alright, neat.
On.
Well, we gotta see what it does.
Of course. Because we got a trophy to win.
Yeah! Adventure.
We are very much beating ass.
Butt is beating ass. Oh, you're on his thing, so you summoned him.
That, I mean, I guess plain, sure. But that's what it changed. Instead of the horn noise...
Instead of honking, it just makes his noise. Okay, so he just talks instead of doing a horn.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that, too.
That's not a bad change.
And we will see you guys tomorrow as we go do a trophy challenge.
So we saw what happens when there's no full trophy clear. What happens when you get alt trophies, though?